Okay, we're recording this video on Sunday, the 21st of August 2022. It's just gone 4:52 p.m. Chicago time. Do hope you are doing well. Hope you had a good week's trading. So, sitting in an airport hotel room. It's Monday morning, Australia time. Flying out today, having spent 3.5 months in Australia, and we're back off to Europe. So, looking forward to that. And it's been a good trip to Australia. I was a little bit anxious coming back because the way the Australians approached COVID was pretty extreme, and I was wondering if the whole place had been turned upside down. Turns out no. The only thing that happened in the last 3 years since we've been locked out is that property prices went berserk, as they have done kind of all over the world. But anyway, I might do a kind of recap on Australia at some point in the future. If you're interested in that, kind of observations after 1,000 days of being locked out, put a comment in the video below and I'll put something together. Anyway, so this is our weekend futures market recap. What is it? It is 4:53 p.m. so the futures market's going to open in about 6 or 7 minutes time, so some of these charts are going to start to jiggle around. We're going to look at the top 15 futures markets. Again, the usual kind of setup here, where we've got our forex futures markets here with the euro, British pound, Aussie dollar, Japanese yen. We've got our two largest financials with, of course, the E-mini and the 10-year notes. And then we've got our precious metals with gold and silver. We also got Bitcoin, which was kind of winging around like a mad thing this week. And then our commodities. We've got the energy complex with crude and natural gas, copper, the largest industrial commodity, and the ags. We've got corn, soybeans, and wheat. But before I get to the tick bar charts, I want to point out some kind of higher time frame charts. First of all, with the daily chart of the E-mini, that is the chart we're looking at here is the at es.d, so this is the day session only, and I tend to look at all of the different indices kind of daily really, and there are three ways of looking at the four major indices, which is you can look at the futures, the index itself, and also the ETF, and then obviously our four major indices with the S&P 500, we've got the NASDAQ, we've got the Russell, and we've got the Dow. I find it useful just to look at the whole thing, to look at a whole picture. Some of these charts you'll find this signal pop up, others it's going to pop up in a day or two's time, but this is what I am talking about, that dot there. So 2 weeks I've been going on about this, so we have an overshoot. So if allow me just a quick recap, and we had a big things happen at Triple's signal a few weeks ago, which marked the bottom down here when we were having, you can see the SR1, 2 and 3 are all red on that data window there, and that says that we've got three supports all kind of lining up. It was a nice pullback to end of trend on the lowest time frame. We had a nice little second cyclical turn after end of trend, so there's one cycle, there's two, that's the second cycle after an end of trend, and we had another kind of triple pattern there. So that's a big things happen at Triple's pattern, bang, and that's what started this whole rally, bottomed this thing and started this rally. But the first place we're going to confirmed rally as soon as we break above a resistance here, the bars start turning red. But we're going to get a little bit of resistance and some kind of pushback as soon as we come into resistance on the next highest time frame. We knew it was in due when these two lines crossed, and that's with Friday's activity, bang, that's kind of popped up. So it's not popped up on all the indices and all the ways of looking at it, futures, index and ETFs, but a fair few it's kind of popped up there, and so that's important. So this is going to give us a little bit of trouble on that intermediate time frame. However, let's go down a time frame to the 135-minute chart. So this is a day session, and there are exactly three 135-minute bars on the day session, and you can see here a couple of interesting things. So on the left hand side, this is better momentum and better pro-am on the price bars themselves. Better pro-am uses the average trade size to identify professional and amateur activity. And again, for the last 2 weeks I've been wittering on about that. Look at that. That is Rambo patterns trying to break out at the 4300s. And poor old amateurs, they just get wrong-footed, the wrong place. And you know, we've had a really strong rally from those lows, and they're buying this breakout at this point here. They're thinking, okay, the bottom's in, better jump in, blah blah blah. And unfortunately, after Rambo patterns, sometimes it's a reversal, so that's the RANBO reversal of an amateur breakout. Sometimes it reverses into a change of trend, but sometimes it just leads to weakness, and these traders are kind of put under pressure basically. and that's what we're going to have going forward. But if we look at the 135-minute chart here, you can see this is the breakout level at 4,000, where we broke into a confirmed uptrend. I think it's like better levels kind of down here where it's confirmed uptrend, but we have not put in pullback to end of trend on the 135-minute chart. Go down a couple of time frames, yes, there are pullback to end of trend patterns going on, but none here. So although on this higher time frame chart, yep, we're going to have trouble, we're going to be in a downswing kind of mood for a while, we still have to put in a kind of nice little topping out pattern with a pullback to end of trend, and I think that's going to play out this week. So we'll have a little bit of weakness until we get a catch here on this lowest time frame on the 135-minute chart. These two lines will come together, and that'll put in a pullback to end of trend. So there's going to be a good day sometime this week where we'll put in that pullback to end of trend, and then we've got to probably put in a pullback to end of trend on that intermediate kind of time frame here. So it's going to be weak, but we're going to play into those highs, and this week's going to be a tricky week in terms of playing out those patterns, because it's going to be, I said last week was going to be choppy, and I think it kind of was choppy, leading to a good day on Friday. Hope everybody kind of got on board the downtrend on Friday. But this week again is going to be choppy with some big swings where we put in those pullback to end of trends on those two time frames. So, but after that, once that has all played out, that trending energy has all played out, then we'll see where this kind of whole thing goes, because we'll have resistance on the highest time frame and blah blah blah, and we'll be talking about the beginning of September into those. But anyway, markets are always interesting. Now, because we're also talking cycles on these intermediate time frames, I have to point out what is going on some of the major markets here in terms of cycles. So I'm going to go through these. So we've got the euro currency, kind of representative of what's happening with the dollar index versus all the other currencies. We've got the 10-year notes, again representatives of kind of government bonds. We've got Bitcoin here, just representative of sentiment, trader sentiment, and then gold here. So let me go through these kind of one by one and show you the same thing showing up on all of these. This week's activity, we hit resistance on this intermediate time frame here. So this is a 460-minute chart, and all of these are kind of equivalent. There are three 460-minute euro bars in a daily session of the euro, because the euro is trading 23 hours a day. And so again, this is equivalent to our 135-minute chart. Three of these bars in a day session of the Emini. Forget the night session because it's kind of thinly traded, but on the day session, the euro tends to trade more 24/7 or 24/5, and so an equivalent 3 bars in a trading day is a 460-minute chart, and that's what happened this week. We ran into trouble, so we overshot a little bit on the resistance on the lowest time frame and head into resistance on the intermediate time frame, and that's what's led to the decline here. And we have that across so many of these kind of charts. We've got it happening across all the forex charts, but let me show you the 10-year as well. Here we ran into resistance on the intermediate time frame and the highest time frame, and we're broken support with this last week's activity on the low and the intermediate time frame. So this has got to play itself out to pull back to end of trend. So bonds are weak at the moment. We're in a downtrend, and that's important. We're going to be testing down. Let's look at gold next. Same type of thing. Broke above resistance on the lowest time frame. Hit resistance on the intermediate time frame. Happens to be a pullback in a downtrend kind of signal here. So gold, although we've had some nice rallies, we've actually been in a downtrend for months and months, and this is kind of playing out. So this has got to go pull back to end of trend and see where that kind of goes. And Bitcoin I think was at triple. Yeah, that's why this weekend's activity was at Friday, that kind of sold off super hard here. But this is what happens. You see the SR1, 2, and 3. That's a triple. So all 3 time frames, the low, intermediate, and high time frames, hit resistance at that point. So big things happen at triples. We could not get through here, and then bang, we kind of lurched down. And this has got to play itself out. Pull back to end of trend. We've got to see end of trends similar to the patterns we saw here. We saw pull back to end of trend, pull back to end of trend. That kind of bottomed the market. Bang, we kind of had a weak rally. I mean, it was nice to get to 25, but now we're going to test back down. So all of these charts, what I'm saying is these majors, the forex, the bonds, Bitcoin, gold, silver, are all seeing similar things. They hit resistance in those intermediate time frames, and so we're going to have that's going to be the mood for the next week or two as these things kind of play itself out. Obviously we're going to have rallies and dips and whatever, but the mood generally is going to be kind of down. Now the most interesting one for me is crude, because crude we're sitting on a triple here. Okay, the market's just opened 3 minutes ago and it's kind of weak. So here we go, we've got a triple. Big things happen at triples. SR1, 2 and 3 all come in on these time frames. And when I look at all of the volume patterns and exhaustion patterns, I don't see much to hold it there. So we had a really nice trade this week. I was short at the beginning of the week, short 90 and out at 86, just into this move here that was signaled on the better indicators. That was nice for crude. But we're coming back down to this whole area. Now if 86.5 doesn't hold, if these things kind of hold, we're going to be breaking into downtrends that until we see an exhaustion pattern. So if this exhaustion pattern was getting the move going, we're going to have to see another exhaustion pattern to end it. So there we go. That's on those intermediate times. Just bear that in mind. We're seeing that on all types of charts where just the mood is going to be weak for the next couple of weeks. Just keep that in mind. So taking long trades, I don't know, should just be kind of a short-term opportunity, and waiting for the setups into stronger moves down. So let's look at the tick bar charts then. So we'll start with the forex contracts with the euro here. Here's the 104 number we could not get through. Bang, we had a really nice sell-off. A little bit of consolidation this week, and then the next leg down. So some blue professional bars kind of getting this move going. We're coming down to parity again, but we've got to see blue professional bars kind of coming in. There was an opportunity shorted again at 1.5 that would have been nice, but that's continuing down until we see blue professional bars, exhaustion patterns and so on. So let's see if we get any kind of rallies with signals to kind of short that. So that's euro. British pound, big move down. The signals kind of came a little bit earlier than we had blue professional bars at the highs. Same pattern as the euro, consolidation kind of midweek, and the trends kind of continued down. So we've gone quite a long way, but no blue professional bars in yet. So let's see what happens this week. Aussie dollar, same thing. Here's the signals that kind of came in midweek. Exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, blue professional bars on the highs. They sell it down at 70, bang. Now here at 68 and a bit, we've got exhaustion sell, some blue professional bars kind of come in, but I still think we're going to have to fuss around until we bottom that properly. Japanese yen, I think we had some nice signals here. If you reviewed last week's video, I talked about we'd had the signal on last week's video, and I said look for a rally back and that blue professional bars would come in, and it's a classic stair-step trade. That's exactly what happened. So we rally back from this low. Note that there are no blue professional bars catching it at the lows. So all they do is they kind of force it back, and then at 75.5, bang, there's that blue professional bars, stair-step down. We got signs of weakness, signals kind of come in, a whole bunch of blue professional bars, getting the next leg of this move going, bang, 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 continues down. So that's a classic. When it's early on in the move and we've seen no blue professional bars since the break, that's their opportunity to get short again, bang, bang, bang. So again, we've traveled pretty far on this move, but no blue professional bars, no exhaustion patterns kind of yet. So we'll wait and see if there's a rally back opportunity to see some signals short there. So that's what's going on with the Forex charts. E-mini, I talked about the E-mini, that I'm expecting a little bit of a rally back until we put in those pullback to end of trend charts, although the open at the moment is weak kind of there. We haven't particularly seen a classic blue professional bars at the highs, exhaustion buys and so on at those highs. So I mean, this was nice on Thursday, Friday kind of trade short. That's kind of a stair step, bang, rally back, blue professional bars, but it didn't max out in terms of a classic pattern here. So let's see if we get a more classic pattern as it kind of tests those highs this week. So that's the E-mini. The 10-year. Now last week I said we did have a setup for the 10-year at the beginning of the week, and we did get a nice little rally, but there wasn't enough blue professional bars kind of coming at those lows. to really bottom it, and so it failed. We kind of get through the lows again, tries to catch again, more signals, but again, I mean, it's only one blue professional bar, one exhaustion pattern kind of down here, so we've come back down to even more patterns down here, so we might get another kind of little bit of a rally signal on the 10-year, but just bear in mind, just go back to this chart on the 10-year, we've broken through supports on these higher time frames charts, and so I think rallies should be shorted when we get the opportunities. But let's see where the blue professional bars, if they catch it here, push it back up, see where they go on that, and see if it kind of runs out of steam and kind of rolls over again. So that's the 10-year. Gold, again, we're down on these higher time frame charts. Talked about this in the last couple of videos. Yes, we had some short signals here, but we hadn't really seen blue professional bars at the highs. We had exhaustion patterns here, but no blue professional bars. But then, when finally the blue professional bars do come in here and here, bang, we get that kind of sell-off in gold. So that's nice. That's in a downtrend, and there's no exhaustion sell patterns coming in there or blue professional bars yet. Silver, I think it's the same deal. There's the blue professional bars that came in at those highs. We didn't get an exhaustion buy pattern into there. That's why there's no kind of triple signal, but we've kind of rolled over on silver. And Bitcoin, we know that story on Bitcoin where we had this is the breakthrough 23, bang. And the signal short on Bitcoin is quite a ways ago. It's a 4,500 tip bar chart. There's so much activity kind of coming through on Bitcoin that maybe I should bump that up and have a bigger time frame chart. But anyway, those are the signals short that we had. The test back up, look at all the blue professional bars into 25,000, bang, and then we sell off. And then nothing much at the lows, push it back up 24.5, and they sell it down again. That's kind of a little bit of, it was pretty volatile at that point, but effectively that's a stair-step kind of trade there. We continue down and down and down. So even at these lows down at 21,000, we don't really have an exhaustion low down here. We're just kind of backing off. But anyway, so Bitcoin's weak at the moment, and just bear in mind again this kind of intermediate chart on Bitcoin here. We've run into trouble here with triples on the highest time frame there, so that's important. Crude, yep. So crude, it's trying to catch at the moment, but if 86 kind of breaks, that'll be a triple break on the highest time frame. So we've got a little bit of a signal. This was the signal that we had Sunday, Monday, last weekend. Got short at 90.60, something like that, and then got out at 86. Got out on these blue professional bars down here, so that was kind of $4 on crude, and that was really nice. So we're having a little bit of a rally back, but let's see if 86 holds. If it doesn't, then it could be fireworks on the downside. Natural gas still strong. I mean, because of the all the fundamental kind of news here. Signals didn't work out. Blue professional bars kind of stepped in. We pushed it back up. I know we've had exhaustion buy and bearish divergence, but no blue professional bars there. So nothing kind of confirmed on a natural gas change in trend. And copper, surprisingly, has been very strong. Actually had a signal here. So we tried, I mean, this looked like a good pattern here. All those blue professional bars, exhaustion buy, bearish divergence, overbought. We get a triple signal and we get weak, but no, they push it back up, continues up. So you'd have thought with everything else kind of weakening that we would get that copper would be weaker than this, but it's not, surprisingly. And then lastly, the ags. Still thinking there's something to be seen for this kind of rally in corn. We had our signals a couple of weeks ago, but it's kind of gone nowhere yet. We've had some signs of strength, so maybe corn gets a bit of a bust out move this week, but nothing yet. Soybeans, now we had signals kind of this week in soybeans, and this rally back up looks like a bit of a stair-step kind of trade, but let's wait and see. This whole area, if we break above 14.16, then that could be good. So if corn and soybeans kind of rally, and this is showing that blue professional bars is showing they're just extremely interested in getting catching this low down here, but not a signal yet. And wheat, yeah, we had very, very bad kind of news on wheat that must have driven this down to 750 here. So nothing convincing on the week charts. So I think crude for me is very interesting. That if we do break that 86 and all hell breaks loose when we've got a triple break, that'll be because of this chart. Go back to this. If that breaks, that triple breaks, then that'll be really interesting for crude. Otherwise, choppy on the euro. Choppy on the E-mini, but waiting for that energy to play out, that uptrending energy to kind of play out, and then finally kind of get some really strong down days, or multiple kind of down days in a row. So there we go, a little bit of a longer video. Sorry about that. It's 5:13 now. I'll put this video out, and good luck with your trading this week.